fate of the universe lies on your shoulders. Now, whatever you do, don't push this button. Because that will set off the bomb immediately, and we'll all be dead. Now, repeat back what I just said.
I am Groot.
No! No, that's the button that will kill everyone. Try again.
I am Groot.
Mm-hmm.
I am Groot.
Uh-huh.
I am Groot.
No!
9 billion names of pod.
From Atlanta,
where we've noticed a marked increase in cats being annoyed by Bradley Cooper.
it's the 9 Billion Names of Pod with Dan Bauman and Michael Reed. I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm waiting for Rogue One.
Me too.
And for this fucking year to be
Me
over.
too. So let's talk about some stuff. Jeez. We lost 3 more celebrity or 3 more pseudo celebrities or
Hey, if we know about them and we don't know them personally,
Yep.
that makes them a celebrity.
Yep.
You know, I mean, we live in an age, I remember like 100 years ago, unless they were a massive talent or somebody in government or someone local, you never knew about.
Yeah.
You know, back in the olden days, you know, we got word from wire that the Kaiser's dead. You know,
Right,
He's
right.
been dead a month, and
He's
we
been
just
dead
now got the word.
Yeah.
And now we find out, you know, in some cases before anybody, you know, someone at the scene Instagrams it or tweets it, you know, 1 second after their pulse stops.
Right. Well,
So yay, technology?
unbelievable. I mean, the one that hurt this week, there were several. I'm trying to pull them up. There was two smaller character actors. One was a lady who was in she was in Ghostbusters, and she I had an uncle who thought he was Saint Jerome. Let's see. I can't find her name. But the one that really hurt us was Andrew Sachs, who.
Okay.
Exactly, Andrew Sachs. He was from Barcelona. He played Manuel on probably the greatest one.
It's the great. I would have to say it is the greatest sitcom, and only because Young Ones is not a sitcom. It barely meets. It barely meets the qualifications of a TV show. It's like it's a variety show.
Yeah,
it's
a
political
sketch
commentary.
show.
There's some, but no. As far as your standard,
Fawlty
roughly
Towers.
half-hour sitcom, Fawlty Towers, if not is number one, it's right in there in the top 3
easily. And he played Manuel, the Spanish waiter, who was just had a language barrier and was kind of an idiot, and he was the foil for Basil. And
but he never talked about the war, now did he?
No.
Yeah.
Basil did once, but I think he got away with it.
He got away with it?
Yeah.
I mentioned it, but I think I covered it. Yeah, very good. Now, did you know that they've started, I think it's in Australia,
Yes.
they've started doing Fawlty Towers live.
Yes.
Now, I haven't delved too deeply into it, whether it's supposed to be new or they're taking the original scripts and presenting them live, which I think would be
the original script.
I would hope so.
There was a trend of that. They did that in the 90s. They had the Brady Bunch live.
Yep, they would do that in Los Angeles, and there's
They
been
did in New York too. They toured
did
it.
they?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they toured it.
And there's been a couple of shows such as Archer and Family Guy that would go and they would do a live reading of the script. They wouldn't act it. Whereas the Fawlty Towers thing is actually they're putting on the show with the set and the costumes and everybody.
Our friends here in Atlanta with Process Theater, Topher Payne and Dwayne Morgan, Stuart Schleiza, and Johnny Drago, they do a drag version of Designing Women.
Oh, yeah.
Which is pretty damn fantastic.
So good and so noteworthy that Linda Bloodworth Thompson got wind of it, and her... I guess her entry into the recent political season was a monologue against Donald Trump being delivered by
Julia Sugarbaker.
Portrayed by Topher Payne, full drag.
Yep.
Wrote that for Topher to deliver as Julia Sugarbaker.
It was an update of a monologue from the show,
Right.
is what it was.
Right.
And Topher, who we need to get on the show, he's a playwright friend of ours who's been doing bigger and bigger things.
I don't know, just some Broadway and some television scripts. You know, we all do that. Of course.
His script, his show, Broadcasting Christmas on Hallmark Channel was only the biggest, highest rated cable program that night. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Nothing to,
Nothing.
But so going back, they do that kind of thing, and Faulty Towers has become is it Australia? Is that where it was?
That's my understanding, is that they started doing it in Australia. It's part of the Commonwealth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, not really looked kindly upon by some of the the posh south of England folks, you know?
Right?
But as Tracy Ullman said recently, some of us, we bleed the North, the North.
Now, Andrew Sachs, the last thing I heard him in, because, I know you are, we follow a lot of British actors and stuff, and the last thing I heard him in was about...
Well, you have to follow British actors. They come over here and take all our jorbs.
take all our superhero jobs.
That 11 from Stranger Things, total Brit.
Yep.
Total Brit. You never knew until she opened her mouth like, wow.
Superman's a Brit,
Yeah, everyone's a Brit.
Everybody's a Brit. Not Batman. He's all American, if you call it that.
Yeah.
But
he's from Boston.
Andrew Sachs did an adaptation of one of my favorite Douglas Adams is Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
Is he part of that?
And the radio series, yes.
The radio
not
series.
the TV series.
Not which I need to get to.
I've watched half of it, and there was one moment in the first episode where I was like, yep, I'm in. They allude to the books with one throwaway line that was like, there it is, there's the connection, now I know where this is and that the others exist, and he drops two little references, one to each of the Dirk Gently books, because there's two, and I was ecstatic the way they did it. It's a different take, as well most of the Douglas Adams stuff should be, but there's a guy named Dirk Maggs who has a company called Above the Title Productions, and they do radio plays and radio dramas, and he's a big proponent of Douglas Adams stuff. He basically finished out the radio series with the original cast. Like he did Life in the Universe and Everything, and So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, and supposedly, as a matter of fact, this month on Radio 4 he's going to do the ill-advised post Douglas Adams passing sequel book that Ian Colfer, I want to say, wrote, and which was not great. It was okay. It was not, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me.
And next, Radio 4 will explode.
Right. I think it will be better because Dirk Maggs will get the surviving cast, and he'll get
breathe some life into it, for the love of God.
Well, just make it, connect it, put it in those people's voices, and it'll be all right. So
I'm just waiting for Netflix to whip out their big, 20-mile long schlong of cash and start like doing a proper television adaptation, episodic adaptation of the Hitchhiker series.
That would be
with the budget.
That would
don't
be
condense everything and its fucking mother into one film and all this. No, do it proper way. Do it all the way through with the budget, with the top line cast. If you're willing to spend $100,000 a minute for Westworld, and that's HBO. What am I thinking of? The Crown.
Yes.
And all these other shows that came out of absolutely nowhere. Take a chance on something that has a proven track record when done properly and has a fan base built right in.
Right, and would eat it up. Would totally eat it up.
Absolutely.
I mean, can you imagine a 13-episode adaptation of the first book?
Yes, I can.
It would be freaking great.
It's part of my nightly prayers.
Shit, you could do the first two books in 13, say 15 episodes. Close.
Yeah.
it's just which version do you want to do? Do you want to do the books? Do you want to do the radio version?
No, the books.
Well, the radio version was first. The radio version was first, and
That was the run through. And when he committed it to paper, that was the perfection.
Or
an amalgam of the two. Say it was better.
That's what it should
was
be.
better done in the radio version, and we can take it this way and that way where we couldn't if we did the book version. Fine, just. It doesn't have to be, quote unquote, the definitive version of the story. It's like, here's another version of it.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Every version is different, and that's by design. Douglas made it that way. The first two books in the radio series are pretty similar up to a certain point. After they leave Restaurant in the Universe, it goes a totally different direction than the books did. Like a completely different story that kind of they did use parts of that in the book. But like where they end up is this totally different thing, and this whole planet of shoe shops, and that people evolved from birds, and it was weird.
Well, when they put out the call for the writers' room, I'll make sure that we get in on it.
Hell yeah, I'm down for that. But the BBC series is actually not too bad. It's getting there. It's getting there.
Speaking of The Crown, have you seen any episodes of The Crown?
I have not.
I'm getting ready to start it at some point. I have to make my way through Gilmore Girls first because I've been waiting.
Yes, you do.
I've been waiting for that for so long. I'm literally afraid to start watching it almost because
I completely understand that.
Because it's like that band you discover on their debut album, and every track is absolute perfection. Then you get the second album. And you know how good the first one is, and you're holding it going, oh, God, please don't suck.
Yep.
Please, please, please. And you listen to, that's what happened with me with The Beautiful South, the band that I live to love. Their second album, I listened to one track every, other day just to ease, just to literally just, put a piece in, just a little bit. And turned out that aside from some horrific decisions on production, the performance and the songwriting were absolutely top notch. So
see, with me, it would be the other way around. With like a new Rush album, for me, I would immediately love it, and then the next day go, God, did I really love it because it was good, or did I love it because it's a Rush album? And a lot of times, my opinion would be changed, because I immediately loved it right out of the gate. Oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And then it was like, did I really?
Yeah, the thing is that for me, the first Beautiful South album, there's certain things you discover that almost make you wonder, why didn't I create that? Because it is so much of me.
Yeah.
I identified with it immediately. And you're just, I hope that second one, the first five and a half Beautiful South records are basically unparalleled masterpieces. And then the returns get a little dicey after that. Yeah. But right around the time I stopped working for them, I wonder.
Ooh, interesting.
I have no idea. But with Gilmore Girls, I mean, we'll save the bulk of the talking for that. But I wasn't even going to watch the show because I just stupidly wrote it off as it's a chick flick show, whatever. And I actually watched that first episode and went, holy crap, this is some witty dialogue. This is like if Aaron Sorkin did even more mushrooms and wrote and wrote more for comedy than for drama politics. I went, all right, I'll give it a shot. And became addicted.
See,
so now,
I did it the opposite. I didn't watch it for that same reason. I was like, it's not, there's no superheroes or aliens. What do I care? That was kind of my mantra for a long time, which is a dumb thing to say.
Mean, basically, if you read like a one paragraph synopsis of Gilmore Girls, just roughly the story of this, that, and that, you'd go, who gives a crap?
Yeah.
But it's the writing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The writing.
And I think what happened with me with that was, Courtney was watching it, and I would be working at my desk, and it was one of those things where she was like, do you care about this? And I was like, nah. And she would watch it, and then it would be on in the background, and I'd be working, and then
you'd be like, did they just reference Frank Zappa?
Yeah, I'd be listening.
What?
And then because she was binging through it, so I would just be working, and then I would be listening, and then I would be working some more, and then I would be listening and watching more than I was working, and then I just started watching it, and I was like, how did I get here? And because it's that good.
It's the triumph of good writing,
Yep.
executed, I'm going to say almost flawlessly.
Yeah.
Pretty decent. So we'll have an episode or two on the Return of Gilmore Girls once I get through watching it.
I have seen it, and I am stumm. I'm keeping quiet because I don't want to influence anything.
Nope.
And again, you still have a whole other Amy Sherman Palladino series.
I know.
Called Bunheads.
I have Bunheads. I have it.
Yeah.
I just haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's absolutely it's what you want. It's
somebody. I think it was Mike Johns who either he posted it or commented about it. It was a GIF. Yes, it's pronounced GIF. People.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Has this rather tall girl in a high school hallway walking down and just takes this girl's ponytail, does a quick whip around her wrist, and yanks her. It was so effortlessly, like she hardly changed her stride and just put her on the floor. Like, I'm hoping that's in some sort of
A comedic context, because that was really kind of fucked up for her to do.
But anyway, hey, let's talk about that Guardians trailer.
Yes, that a good thing happened this week.
Yes,
they
finally.
dropped. James Gunn dropped a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 trailer.
I like it that they're not going to try Guardians of the Galaxy Quest for the Forbidden Orb or whatever the fuck. Like, no, just Volume 2, Volume 3, just volume it.
Well,
that works out.
it goes along with the
With
whole
the tape,
music thing.
yeah.
Yeah, with the tape thing.
Oh, and Fox on the Run, getting that old 70s sweet shit in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, good. Bring back some of that awesome 70s stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, the 70s were more than just Dan Fogelberg and bread, you know. There was also Sweet, and they're probably not going to get Led Zeppelin, but you know what? Led Zeppelin does.
At this point,
they will license
can
their
pay.
shit on. They can pay. They can afford it.
Yeah, they've got the Disney backing at this point. They made plenty enough money where if he's going to get every song he wants.
I mean, it's going to cost an extra $200,000 just to get 30 seconds of Cashmere. Done.
Yeah, easy.
Good.
I think he was working on Volume 2, what songs were on Volume 2 before the script. I think that's how the process of that goes. It's like, what songs are going to influence, you know? My concern is what happens after this one. You know, there's no other tape that we know of, because that was the big thing, and that was the gift in the box that is
We'll
apparent,
see.
you know.
We'll see. We don't know. There's something about the male side of the parent.
That's true.
Where maybe something's there, or maybe side 1 of Volume 2, he only plays that, and he's saving the second side.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? I mean, there's any ways you can go about it.
Yep.
Or Gunn may go, doesn't have to be based on a tape of movie.
Yeah.
Screw it, you know. Maybe Gamora studied up on that era of music and made a gift for him.
Maybe.
You never know. It could go any direction.
Yep.
I'm making a prediction that the biggest fucking thing on the planet next summer is going to be Baby Groot. Everything is going to be Baby Groot.
Talk about, like, paying attention and tapping in, because I'm betting the Baby Groot at the end of Guardians was a throwaway bit just to be funny, and Gunn went, holy shit, that's what we got to do.
Everybody's talking about it.
Because I was like, I guess, I was like, I wonder how they're going to do Groot in 2. I mean, I wonder if he's going to be a big, you know, back to how fast he grows or whatever. I didn't know. I was like, he's not. He's a little tiny Baby Groot in a little tiny spacesuit.
But he's still, I mean, the trailer shows a guy running away from him. So already he knows what Baby Groot can do.
Yeah, and does it.
And you can see him like, so he's
still a badass.
And I'm like, I like that.
Yeah. And I still love the Han Solo Chewbacca dynamic between Rocket and Groot, in the fact that Rocket completely understands everything he says.
I'm Groot. I understand what you just said. Yeah.
Yeah. Press the button. I am Groot, right?
Yeah.
I am Groot, right? Yeah. I am Groot. No! That's the button that'll kill everybody. And, you know, just the fact that Groot has an atomic bomb for whatever reason in his backpack.
Of course he has an atomic bomb.
Of course he does.
He had a few minutes and he was sitting alone in an alley and just looked around and goes, shit, there's enough out here
Be
just
prepared,
sitting around.
you know.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna need this and that and what of that over there because yeah.
Again, one of the giant surprises of Guardians was how good and how funny Dave Bautista was as Drax.
Oh my gosh!
I mean,
in that trailer,
he's a professional wrestler, and you would think he would have been just the muscle and this and that, but that dude is goddamn funny and knows how to deliver a joke.
Yeah. Most of the time when you hear, oh, an actor's going to do music. And 9 times out of 10, at the best, it's, you didn't embarrass yourself, but who cares? But sometimes you're like, holy crap, why are you acting? You should be a musician. Holy shit, you are fucking amazing.
Yeah, sometimes you get, what's his name? I want to say it's Tyler Mane, who played Sabretooth in the first X-Men movie and was a big giant dude and was not very
tried music and it just
no he was a wrestler. I'm sorry, he was a wrestler and he was playing and he was acting. He was playing Sabretooth
and just couldn't.
I mean, he had like 4 lines maybe and
couldn't.
He was okay, but he was not like, Drax is a character and he has dialogue and pathos and funny as crap. His joy at the end
I
of
think
that
his
trailer.
lack of acting experience actually helps him in that particular role.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That kind of, it's kind of flat, but not flat. Like, he laughs, but this is the thing, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But he's not emoting.
Right, exactly.
He's like, I find this funny. Ha ha ha. This, I am angry now. And that kind of jagged performance for his particular for that character is perfect.
Right, and
absolutely
you can even tell from this trailer that Drax, from being around Quill and everybody, has evolved. He's Peter Quill, Star-Lord.
Oh, okay.
He's more alive. He's less flat, which is great. Like, the character has grown and like loosened up a little bit. Just what is he scream? Screw you, spaceship, or something like that. And like, it just loses his mind over how funny he thinks it was that Star-Lord gets embarrassed.
Yes, exactly.
That's a character. I think her name is Mantis, the girl with the antenna.
Antenna.
Yeah, she's an actual Marvel character, because everyone was all like
pulled out from the C list, like, yeah, let's pull out some other,
like E or F, I think, from what I understand.
Are we going to get any big name characters popping in on Guardians?
Most likely, yeah. I think they've got the clout now. I mean, I don't know who though, because they're definitely going to connect up the universes, or the space ones,
right,
and the Avengers and all that.
They've had Infinity Stone, so
the timeline, it's all happening at the same time.
Yeah, and we have 4 out of the 5 Infinity Stones,
something like that, or 5 out of the 6. Forget. I think it's 5 out of the 6.
Whatever. Yeah.
I don't know. I see again. I know more than you do, but less than most of the comic fans.
There's some stones out there, and one of them hasn't been identified yet.
And
there's a lot of speculation as to where it could be and what movie it's going to show up in.
I don't think it's going to be this one, because they've already done one in Guardians, and the first one was they're not going to do a second one.
Yeah, that would be too much.
It would be my thought would be, I'm trying to think of what. Because there's a lot of sequels coming. We got Spider-Man. I don't think they're going to do Infinity Stone and Spider-Man in Homecoming. No. Because that wouldn't fit with Spider-Man.
Well, because doesn't Sony still have Spider-Man? Spider-Man did an appearance in the Captain America, but he was on loan.
But it's a joint thing. Like, it's
are they going to co-pro an actual full Spider-Man film?
Homecoming. It's on. It's in production now.
But that's going to be a Marvel co-pro.
I believe so. I believe they
worked out a deal to.
Yeah. I think they're going to get Fantastic Four back as well, and
maybe they'll get it right this time.
Yeah, 3rd time's a charm.
Well, hey. It took 3 times to get Hulk right. Or was it twice? No, 3 times.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
The unwatchable Ang Lee version. Or watch wait an hour and 45 minutes and then watch it. The not so bad. No, Eric Bana was the first one. Edward Norton one.
Right.
And they didn't get it right until Avengers.
Right.
Until Ruffalo showed up.
Yeah. Yeah, but he hasn't had his own standalone as the
He's
Hulk
not
yet.
getting one anytime soon, from what they say. Like, he should, but I know for a fact he's popping up in one of the other Marvel movies coming up very soon, because he was not in Ultron, and he was not in. He was not in Civil War. And
well, yeah, because once you have the Hulk on your side,
exactly,
it's like,
yeah.
Why?
That's the
Why is there
problem.
even a battle? Because you got a Hulk.
Where he's going to pop up makes sense, and it'll work out well. But
Is he gonna show up on a planet of Hulks? Hulk planet.
Not
Dan, make it happen.
Not exactly, but
Even better, She-Hulk planet.
Oh.
It'll be the greatest comedy ever.
that would be. I'm sure that's good. Somebody's pitching that now.
Oh, please
A
let
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk show up
Yeah.
somewhere somehow and be just as baudy and
just make a comedy out of it. Make a just do something fun with it.
Deadpool it.
Yeah.
Deadpool it. You get your kick-assery, but you also get your, wow, that was triple X rated, and you had to go there for the joke, and you did.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm laughing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Thank you. So
Yeah, Deadpool seems to be fraught with production problems. They lost their director.
Really?
Yeah, Tim Miller walked because I don't know, something with Ryan Reynolds wanted. They were having disagreements over who's going to play Cable. Evidently, Ryan Reynolds wants Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
And Tim Miller wanted somebody older or younger or something, and evidently he walked, and that's kind of a blow. I mean, he really was every bit as much responsible for how good Deadpool was, if not more, than Ryan Reynolds.
The overpaid asshat.
Yes.
Was that the credit?
I
for that?
forget, but yes.
Yeah. Well, as long as they keep the writing team, and I've heard nothing that says they haven't.
Yes, I believe those guys are still there.
Then
Wernick and
we're okay.
something.
Yeah.
They need. Yeah, the three of them need to do that. Like him and the two of them and Reynolds need to write that script.
Yeah.
Speaking of, you watched the extended cut of Batman Superman.
BVS.
Yes.
All right. It made a bit more sense.
Yeah, didn't it?
It smoothed some stuff out for me.
Yep.
Which makes me hate the theatrical version even more.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't tell the story in a succinct 220 and you need to go to 250, then go to 250. Don't fuck up your theatrical just because exhibitors want a lesser runtime so they can fit more showings in. You have a story to tell. Tell your story and tell everyone to fuck off and...
Yeah, I agree.
And of course, this is me not being in the seat of having to make these decisions where, it'll reduce... Yeah, because opening weekend, if you have an extra showing per screen, per theater, that could mean, another 10 to 20 million in your opening weekend, and that is crucial. So I can understand why. I'm just saying... Don't sacrifice the art for the sake of the commerce.
Don't just randomly hack stuff out of your movie too. That's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, and I still absolutely hate the scene where what the hell's the big Doomsday?
Yeah,
takes down the bat, the bat wing, I guess we're calling it. The bat plane, whatever.
The bat wing.
And the cockpit thing pops up, and Batman's there, and he's getting ready to fire, and he goes, "Oh shit," or whatever, and puts his hands up.
Yeah.
And I thought from the trailer, okay, something's about to... No, he puts it up oh, good. It'll hurt my hands, but the rest of me will be just... What?
No, Batman wouldn't do that.
Why would you do that?
He would have been out of that cockpit.
You'd be sitting there going, shit. Yeah, exactly.
He'd have been gone before.
And you'd zip line out of there
Absolutely.
immediately.
They did it for the joke, and it was a total misstep.
Well, what was the joke? I mean,
shit.
Saying, oh, shit, and then do it.
Yeah. It was not.
Well, and then, of course, you get Wonder Woman in there,
which is great, but that's not the way you do that.
No, Batman doesn't do
Not
that.
Batman.
Why would Batman ever do that?
Ever. He wouldn't.
And
I agree.
I would be very curious to find out if that's something that that Affleck he fought against.
I bet
lost,
he did.
And I'm hoping we never see anything like that again.
No.
Because if you're Batman and you can't zip out, and you would just be like, "This is it. I'm dying."
Yeah, and that's not how he goes.
And of
out.
course, you pop the. There's so many ways that could have gone.
Yeah,
I
I totally.
I still think that was just a huge misstep. And yes, of course, it made it awesome for Wonder Woman to show up at just that point to do the thing. And
Yep.
I get it.
Her reveal was perfect.
You basically damaged Batman to make her reveal awesome.
Right.
Which is a change, because usually the woman suffers to make it's like going, if that's the case,
That's
rock
great.
on,
It just
but
doesn't work.
It
with
doesn't
Batman.
work. Batman would not do that.
Wouldn't at all.
know.
And going back to the extended cut thing, they did the same thing with Suicide Squad. There's like an extended cut. I mean, now,
With more Joker, apparently.
Yeah.
Is that out on Blu-ray already?
not yet. The digital is out.
It's going to be out for Christmas, I know.
Yeah,
it
it's
will
out
be.
in a week or
Yeah.
two.
I would give it a shot. I mean, I gave that kind of like a C+ for me. I enjoyed it, but it's not like with Deadpool where like 20 minutes in, or actually hell, during the credits, I was like, I don't care. These credits are so fucking
Yeah.
amazing. I'm buying the Blu-ray.
Yes.
I don't give a shit.
Yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah. In the middle of it, I was
as
like,
soon
I
as you
wanna
started
go home
singing
and
into
watch
that at the top of the movie, singing into the little creature's head, I went, what the fuck am I watching?
What is
and
this?
when can I get the
it.
Blu-ray?
Exactly.
Not the case.
With Suicide Squad.
No.
I'm such a DC guy that I just want these things to be so good that I'm like, okay, and I don't think they're bad. I want to see. I've heard on a good authority that also the extended cut is better. My buddy, who is a even bigger DC guy than me, watched the extended cut like 2 or 3 times, and then he watched the theatrical cut again, and he was like, yeah, it is better.
How does he have the extended cut?
The digital has the extended
Oh,
cut.
because it's on digital.
The download,
That's
yeah.
right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm willing to.
And I'll be getting it. I'll be getting the Blu-ray for it because I like that.
Because that's you.
Yeah, that's me.
That's you.
That's me. And speaking of things, you said you're getting ready to watch. Was it The Crown?
Well, getting ready means that I will probably watch it in the next 30 days or so.
I have started 2 shows. Not Black Mirror, which I watched the first one, and I will get to that. But I realized today that I'm able to watch Mr. Robot. Last night. So I watched the first episode, and I'm about halfway through the second episode because I was setting up getting my Wi-Fi issues cleared up in the house, and I set up my Xbox in the bedroom because we don't have any cable in there. So I was setting up my Amazon because of another show I'm watching on Amazon
Called?
The Grand Tour, and I'll get to that in a second.
I don't know what that is.
And I was flipping through like what's available on Amazon Prime, and the first season at least of Mr. Robot is up there. And I was like, okay, you know what? I keep hearing about it. And during lunch today, I had a long lunch hour. So I was like, okay. And I threw it on. I was like, okay, I get it. I see it.
Just the title credits when it comes on makes you think, and they specifically styled it this way to look like a 70s film.
Yeah.
That it really and the music, I believe the guy's name is Matt Quayle, just brilliant. It's just
the problem is it's already making me paranoid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you, Dan, but I do absolutely nothing online or online connected that I would give a crap if anyone else knew.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously banking, I don't want people to know my password and shit like that.
Right.
But as far as, I don't know, post horrible things to other people under anonymous
Anonymously,
or troll people or
if we get in actual political discussions, it's as us. It's not
right. Exactly. That's my name's on. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's pretty much that's the way you really should go about it, especially Facebook and everything. If you would be horrified to say this in front of somebody, don't put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's just basic decorum, and that's the problem. You can be an anonymous.
I will be
monster.
far more vituperative on Facebook than perhaps. But I have the feeling that if I was face to face with Trump, I probably would spit in his face. I would probably get tackled by Secret Service and be vilified in the court of public opinion because over half the country. I mean, less than half the country voted, and then less than half of those people voted for Trump.
Those are the people we got.
I would be, hateful and just, just I'm what's wrong with America.
Right. Right.
Well, hey, I tolerate those gays and those immigrants, and I think there's nothing wrong with Muslims as a group. So obviously, I hate America.
That's how that plays out.
Because you know how it is when one white person's in the KKK. That means all white people suck. I mean, they do.
Yeah.
But for more reasons other than just the KKK.
Yeah.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. White American males are the goddamn worst.
We are the worst
ever.
Absolutely.
Ever.
The thing is, people will always say, white men, built everything in this country. Yeah, we fucked everything else up too,
And we didn't even build up.
Yeah.
We had other people
Exactly.
do it under the whip and under all the. Yeah, no.
Yes, the metaphorical or actual whip.
I'm not saying we haven't done some good stuff.
Oh yeah,
we have. But on par,
we fucked up just as much, if not more, of the world and the country.
It's kind of like, the Catholic Church. You got the Crusades, not so good, but you got the charitable stuff. You're like,
As we've said before, the policy of the 9 Billion Names of Pod is sorry.
Yeah, just we're awful.
But going back to Mr. Robot, I'm watching the first episode, and I'm trying not to look ahead because I know there are twists in it because I've avoided. Yeah, exactly.
What the twist?
Yeah, what a twist. And I have theories about what's going on, and I also have no idea what's going on. So I will try to blow through, and we can do an episode.
All right. Well, when you get caught up to, because there's been 2 seasons.
Yeah. And they're only like 10 episodes, right? The first one is 10. I know.
Yeah, I believe it is. I think it's 10. Yeah.
And I love that. It's so great.
Hey, we've said it before. Say it again. I'll take quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Black Mirror season 1, 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Done.
Sherlock, 3 episodes.
Yep. I'm like, fine.
Yep.
But you need to get on your Black Mirror.
I know.
Oh, but dude, you got to parse those out, man.
I watched the first one, and I'm like, it was a couple months ago, and I was like, I don't want to watch another one. That's nothing. That's a slight. I know, and you keep saying that.
That's a light slap across the face.
Oh, jeez.
We're talking about pulling down and twisting of other bodily parts as you get further into the series.
The other show I started watching is, as I said, the Grand Tour.
What is that?
So,
is that one of those auto racing things with people and they fight and then they leave the show and they do something different? Or
no. What was it? Last year, on the set of a show called Top Gear.
Yeah, that's the big one in England.
That's the big one, yes.
And there was the big fight or something.
The big fight where Jeremy Clarkson, one of the hosts, there's 3, got into a fight or pushed or kicked or did something with one of the writers or the producers or something. And he's kind of an asshole anyway, but that's kind of his persona on the show as well. And
he's the Simon Cowell of auto racing television shows.
Right, but for the most part on the show, he's also the biggest idiot of all three. So it's not he doesn't come off like Simon Cowell, like the pompous idiot. They're all idiots. All three of them are idiots in one way or another, which is what's so endearing about the show. It's mostly,
but Dan, aren't we all?
Exactly. And so the BBC basically did not renew his contract. They said, nope, we're not going to do it. And the other two said, bye-bye. They walked. And they tried another series with, of all people, Matt LeBlanc.
I heard about that, and they hated him.
They hated him. It was him and another, like a British guy, and they hated him even more than they hated Matt LeBlanc. And I believe that Top Gear as a thing is done. The Grand Tour is basically the original Top Gear guys doing
all three of them.
All three of them doing the exact same show that Top Gear was. They've changed a couple of things.
It's like MythBusters now, a new show called Busting Myths.
Exactly. It's I mean, identical to Top Gear. And like everything, with the exception of a few little things where now they take it. It's not based anywhere. They take it on the road and they set up their studio wherever they are. The first one was in California. The second episode was in Johannesburg, South Africa, and they do kind of it. It's
and
like,
what is this show about? Like, just here's a cool car. Here it drives fast. Yay.
It's hard to explain. Yes, that's it. That's it. And
I have so little interest in that. I couldn't even.
Absolutely, me too. You'd love the show because the hosts are so goddamn funny. The best episodes they would do they would take these long. They would either have races or do these long trips, like the three of them. They did one. I just watched one of the old ones where they drove across Africa trying to find the source of the Nile, and a lot of it's ridiculous and set up, but it's so funny. They're trying to find the true source of the Nile, and so they just drive around and
it's Lake Victoria. No, that's the Amazon.
Right,
it's Lake Victoria.
They were going by, I don't know. Like I said, it was like what's considered to be the source isn't the actual source because some of it, and they're not explorers, they're idiots, but they.
How does that relate to cars at all?
Well, the thing was they had to do it in cars they purchased for X amount of money. Like used cars. It's always something like that. There's always like some stipulation where they have to drive across the Gobi Desert in a car that costs no more than X amount of money in
a modified Edsel.
Right, and it's just like buffoonery of these three, like sabotaging themselves.
So basically, the comedy is being hung on the skeleton of these ridiculous kind of road trippy things.
Right. The show itself, like the episode, they would actually review really like high end supercars and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I would think it would be about.
And that's interesting too. But it's just the.
I'll be the first to admit there are some cars being done in the 20s, 30s, and very early 40s that are gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, you just want to. I don't know. You don't want to lick them. They're just so shiny and well designed, and they're just gorgeous.
And they'll do test races of like the $250,000 supercars, and they used to do a bit where they had a track outside their studio and. They had what they called their tame racing driver, which was a race car driver, but he always had a helmet on. You never knew who he was, and
Stig,
the Stig, yeah. And they
that was his name.
Yeah, that was the Stig. Yeah, you've seen it.
Okay, no, I never seen it. I think
helmet.
I've heard you talk about it.
Yeah,
no, I've never seen an episode of this.
But you may have seen the Stig. The Stig is a thing, as well. But evidently there were two Stigs. Like they eventually unmasked the one and they got a new one, but they couldn't. I guess that was intellectual property of BBC. That was one of the few things they didn't take.
Kind of like when Letterman went from NBC to CBS.
Exactly.
There were certain things that were the intellectual property of the writing staff over there.
Yep.
And so all right.
But I'm wondering how the IP laws in with BBC and in England work because this show is exactly the same as Top Gear. They literally do.
Is it being done through the BBC
No,
or is
it's
it
Amazon? It's an Amazon original.
Well, no, it's an Amazon original.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And so they have an American racing driver called the American, and they used to do a bit where one of the bits they had celebrities would come in and they would do laps in their reasonably priced car, and whoever got, they kept track, and it was kind of a point of pride, like who was faster, and like celebrities would come on and try to beat each other's times and everything. And in the first episode they said something to the effect of it would be great if we had a celebrity here. Maybe we could have them race around. No, that would be a terrible idea, because they knew they couldn't do it. It's amazing because it's exactly the same show.
All right, well, I'm sure it's interesting. I will never watch it.
Yeah,
and not because it might be fun because of the writing. Just I can't. I have enough problems with scripted dramas and stuff, being able to keep up with those. I mean, I still haven't gotten started on like 10 or 15 series that I'm trying to get started on.
Oh, same here, yeah.
I mean, remember how long it took me to get to Stranger Things?
Yeah.
And then, of course, I binged that shit, right?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I told you. It was worth it.
Yeah. Speaking of Amazon, guess what's about ready to come back for its second season?
What?
Man in the High Castle.
Yeah, I saw that. I kept seeing, I don't know if it were spoilers, but I saw the bits.
I watched the whole thing. I still don't understand what the fuck is going on.
I mean, you obviously understand the concept, but
if you take the films of the alternate universe out of it, yeah, it's a dystopian alternate universe story. But now there's the films of what actually happened as anomalies in their timeline. Where do the films come from? What's up with them? I have no fucking idea.
So like our actual movies are like bleeding into their...
Right. They live in a United States that has been conquered by the Third Reich.
Yeah.
And I think west of the Rockies is Japan's bit. And east of the Rockies is all New Germany or whatever the hell they're calling it. And there's Papers, Please and all this other stuff. And there's these films. And you play them and the films show we won D-Day and, Nazis defeated. And they're like, what? I don't know where these fucking things come from. From the Man in the High Castle? I don't know.
See,
I've not read the source material, so
I have not. It was Philip K. Dick, wasn't it? I believe so.
Is it?
I think so. I believe it's a Philip K. Dick story. Now, I assumed that the Man in the High Castle was Hitler, but I guess not. I guess that's the mystery, right?
I guess. Seriously, maybe I wasn't watching as closely as I should have been.
Now I'm going to have to check it out.
But it's just like, what the hell is going on? But one thing I can tell you about the series is that...
Medication time. Medication time.
We ran out of time. I will tell you next week.
The 9 Billion Names of Pod was conceived, written, and performed by Michael Reed and Dan Bauman, with Abdul Benny Hassan as the sound of splintering wood. Research, transportation, and exasperated looks by Courtney Lohner. Technical assistance by Cubase, Pro Tools, Skynet, QLab, Deep Thought, Big Brother, and Eddie, your shipboard computer. Financial consideration provided by the Wayne Foundation, Stark Industries, the Piranha Brothers, and Lexworth. Legal counsel by the Office of Howard & Fine. Power! No, that is copyrighted by the BBC, sir. Our intro music was written by Tim Akers. This podcast was sponsored by Deep Shag Records and its production of Audio Primate. Throw us a couple stars on iTunes, why don't you? Check us out on dadsgarageradio.net. Listen, watch on YouTube, listen on SoundCloud, stream us on Stitcher, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or email us. comlink@billionpod.com. Until this happens again, I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Michael Reed.
Hello, Z.
Audio Primate.